What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Tell Me More podcast presented by Major League Success. I have Lidya Maurer with us. She's with Rise Realty Co. And, I'm super pumped to have you on, Lidya. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to come on here and just share your journey into, this crazy real estate industry.
Yes. Well, thank you, John. And it was an absolute honor to be asked to join you today. So I'm very excited for this conversation.
Yeah. And it's awesome because, we've been social media friends. I would say social media friends, but we really haven't had the chance to, interact and really dive in to get to know one another. So I always enjoy those episodes a little bit more. Obviously, I love all of my episodes and everyone that comes on, but it allows me an opportunity to kind of meet another, high performing real estate agent in our market.
Yeah. Well, we're going to have to fix that. We'll have to connect in person sometime. But, meanwhile, this is great. And I feel like I've had a chance to get to know you a little bit better because I am a regular on the morning real estate huddle while I'm drinking my coffee. I always try to tune into that and see what's going on with people. And I've gotten some great ideas just off of that show and, great information. So I feel like
how did you first hear about that? Was it just through Facebook's us posting about it? Someone invite you to it?
Yeah, actually, Messina Hardman with Rapid.
Okay.
We had lunch a few weeks back and got on the topic, and so she invited me in, and so I've been pretty much joining in ever since.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, for those that don't know what we're talking about, Monday through Friday on the app called Clubhouse, and if you don't know what that is, I always explain it as a social audio app.
Yeah.
It's kind of like an interactive podcast. But anyways, it's a group of real estate professionals. It doesn't have to be agents, but vendors, title company, lenders, home inspectors, pretty much anyone. And I would like to start getting some new build reps in there, and even contractors, right?
Yeah.
Just the whole point is, we come together every single morning, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. with one goal of just helping each other get better at business, right? In real estate.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you listening in and showing that support. So,
well, it's a great way to get your day started and just get yourself in that business mindset and, start the day off.
And I know we're a little bit off topic already, but that's okay. But I will say, honestly, that's one of the things that was kind of like a real estate hack for me when, I was really selling was I would always try to do a training video, watch it either on YouTube or something, 8 to 9 a.m. And then 9 a.m. I'd hit my phone calls, and I just go right into it. And that was the one thing that kind of just helped me get my mind right.
Yeah. I'm a big podcast person. So, Real Estate Uncensored, if you've ever heard of that, it's one of my favorites. I'll try to jump on that in the morning and just to get your mindset right and get some ideas and
I love it. Well, thank you so much for, like I said, jumping on and just having support and listening in every single day. So, but Lidya, we always start with growing up. I find that typically as I interview more and more people, usually there's something either, from their past that's either growing up or early career or something along those lines that has a great impact on their real estate business. So let's start from the beginning. What was life like, growing up for you? Were you always like this entrepreneur, or, did you have someone in the family? Kind of just fill me in growing up to high school years.
Okay. Growing up, I had a very almost Little House on the Prairie childhood. So I am the oldest of four. My mother homeschooled all of four of us. From kindergarten all the way through 12th grade. So I've never been to public school. So we homeschooled, she gardened, we canned, we did all of that stuff. And then my dad was a blue collar worker. Has worked for AT&T as a repair tech since I was 4 years old. And just about everybody in my family has always been more of the blue collar workers. So I never really had somebody in the family per se that was an entrepreneur, but I think homeschooling honestly gives you that advantage over typical public school for more of that entrepreneurial mindset.
Interesting.
Yeah, just start the way we approach learning. And, my mom always would say, if I had a question, something I wanted to find out more about, look it up. Go look it up. Go figure it out. We go to the library before internet, go to the library, get all the books on the subject. And so I was taught from a young age how to learn and how to love the learning process and how to do the investigation. So
did you enjoy the homeschooling? I know a couple people that did homeschooling, and it seems like it's been a mixed reviews.
Absolutely. I think a lot of it depends on your parents and how they approached it. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. My mom was very flexible, especially the older I got, if there were subjects that I was interested in learning, we would just integrate that into our schooling. So, as a teenager, I really got into cooking. And so there was kitchen science that you could use for your science subjects, things like that. So, and it was very hands-on too. We'd always go on field trips. We did reenacting, when I was a kid, all kinds of stuff like that. So it was such a hands-on experience, which was great for me because I am not a typical sit in a classroom with a book learner. Like, I just can't do it.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's a product of being homeschooled or I'm ADHD too, maybe a combination of the both, but I think it was an ideal situation for me.
No, that's awesome. High school, did you end up going to college, or did you just enter the workforce?
I did end up going to college eventually. I actually got married at 18. I did grow up in a very conservative Christian home. So it was kind of, you date to marry, and that's what I did. So I got married at 18. I was working as a waitress at the time. And then I ended up getting a job at a local retail store where I was there for 6 years, ended up managing it for about 4, which was a great experience for me too, just because my boss had gone to school for marketing. So, I got a great education from her just on marketing and running a business and everything like that. At 21, my now ex-husband, I got divorced several years ago, that'll come later. But at 21, my ex-husband he did concrete, and he ended up with some serious debilitating back issues. We weren't sure if he was ever going to be able to work again. So I knew I had to figure out something to be able to support us both if necessary. So I ended up going to college for business and got my associate's degree in business.
Okay. And you were doing that while working at the store?
Yeah. It was one of those online adult college programs. So it was something to get a degree and have something to present.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I tried online accounting when I was at Ohio State, and online schooling for me is no good.
I made it through, but it was horrible.
I think I made it like in college where you get to either drop it or say you're going to continue.
Yeah.
I got to like the drop it. I was like, yeah, I think I can't. Me personally, I just can't learn online. And but so you end up getting for business, working at the store. Kind of lead me into this first career. Lead me up to real estate.
So while I was in college, one of my favorite classes was a marketing class. I had an amazing teacher for that class. We connected really well. And our final project for that class was a complete marketing plan. So, it's your business plan with that focus on marketing. And my subject matter for that marketing plan was creating a concrete company, because that was something that my ex-husband really wanted to do. And so I just based it off of that. And in doing this marketing plan, we realized how simple it would be to get this started. So after that class, we went ahead and formed the LLC. We started marketing. He was still working full time. We were doing jobs on the weekends and the evenings, things like that, until we got enough business going to where he was able to quit his job. And, obviously this was after his back problems healed, but we were able to get that business going. And so we got that started in, I want to say around 2010, 2011, and worked that for about 4 years, grew it up to the point where we were doing a major, one of the big car dealerships around here was doing a major renovation. We got all their concrete work for that. So we'd actually built it up into something really great. And it was about year 4 that I quit my job working at the retail store to focus on our company full time. Well, then a few months later, my ex and I get divorced. So we separate. I get the house, he keeps the company. So I've got no job, no income, and a house, and trying to figure out what to do next. So I ended up getting a job waitressing just to get the bills paid and everything. And my long-term goal has always been investing, real estate investing. I always wanted to, have my rentals, do flips, things like that. And I'm back to square one and trying to figure out how to get there. And I always knew, like, I don't do the 9 to 5. I can't sit in an office. That's just not my personality. I get bored way too easily. And, so I'm exploring all these ideas of starting my own business. What do I want to do? What's feasible to get started without, a ton of money invested right off the bat. Yeah. And I was exploring ideas, and I had known somebody from when I was working at the retail store who had gotten their real estate license. And so I reached out to her. And I said, I'm just kind of playing around with this idea. Could we meet sometime? I'd love to talk to you more, see what it's like. And she said, well, why don't you just meet with my broker? Let me set up a meeting with my broker. I said, okay, let's do that. And so I ended up meeting with Bethany Alexander, the broker of Rise. And I'm sitting in the office now, but I can remember I was so nervous. I had no idea what I was getting myself into. And, I get to the conference room, and Bethany and I are so similar. Our personalities are so similar. We're very high eyes on the DISC assessment. So we're all about ideas and collaboration and so on and so forth. And so our initial conversation was just so great. And on top of that, what really kind of got me as well is in our conference room, this is an old building with the big fireplaces. And above the fireplace, she's got part of the quote from Roosevelt's speech, "The Man in the Arena." And I remember reading that, and that just hit me all right in the feels. And so I left that meeting going, I am on the right track. This is where I'm supposed to be. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. So shortly after that, I enrolled in school and got my classes going.
Yeah, that's awesome. I want to talk. I want to go back to the marketing piece, sure. But the Man in the Arena. We actually did a book club in Clubhouse. Mm-hmm. On which one is it in? Dare to Lead or Daring Greatly?
Brene Brown.
Brene Brown. That's the first time I read that.
Yeah.
And so I love that. I don't want to say quote passage. I don't know what you would actually call it. A passage, maybe. But those that haven't read that or have never heard of that, make sure you guys go and take 5 minutes to read it, because that's what it takes in real estate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
To be honest,
blood, sweat, tears, being willing to fail, but showing up regardless.
Yeah. I want to go back to the marketing piece and the marketing plan. Obviously the coaching company that I came up through and that's impacted my career is called NAEA. Mm-hmm. And one of the co-founders always would say the best marketer wins. Mm-hmm. But the majority of us real estate agents, I'll make assumptions. The majority of us real estate agents don't have a clue about marketing. We don't have typically a clue about sales when we get into it.
Sure.
What's just off the cuff, common mistake that agents make regarding their marketing strategy?
Okay, I've got several here. I'm doing a list of few that just come to mind right off the bat. One of them is trying to be like everybody else. Not standing out, not creating a unique presence and a unique brand. In my local market in Lancaster, there's over 500 agents in a community of 45,000 people. That's a lot of realtors. How do you stand up above the rest of them so that you're seen, you're heard, people know who you are? So I think not embracing our uniqueness is a big part of it, trying to look like everybody else and do what everybody else is doing. I think another part of it too is, and I'm sorry, I'm going to have some people get mad at me for this, the in contract post, the just sold post. Nobody cares except for your mom. I'm sorry. Bring your client into this. Tell their story. People connect with stories. They don't connect with those salesy posts. So you can do them, but do them in a more unique way that explains how you solved a problem, how you brought joy to somebody's life. Bring your client into that story and tell their story, because that's really what's going to stand out. So I think those are probably two of the biggest.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. We're reading the book now, Building a Story Brand, right? And
I just got that in the mail yesterday. I'm like, I got to get this, for the book club so I can start getting caught up. But
speed read. I'll tell you the life hack on that. Uh-huh. You get the Audible and you get the hard copy and you just listen as you read.
That's
I'm a slow reader, so that works for me.
yeah,
It's like worth the extra $20 to have both.
right. That way for driving, you can listen to it as well. So that's a great idea. I love it.
So Lydia, when did you sit down to get into real estate? What year was that?
That would have been 2015. So I think I
Okay.
met with her like around July, and then I was able to finally start my classes in November.
Okay. And how did you get into the real estate investing side? Like, what was there, like someone within the family that was like doing it, or how did you find that passion, I guess, to really want to dive into to the real estate investing side?
I'll be honest, I'm not entirely sure where it all started. I've always wanted to retire early and have passive income so I can travel and do whatever passion project I have. I don't want to spend my whole life having to work to just make ends meet. I wanted to create something bigger than that. So I guess in doing research, probably, started hearing more and more about real estate investing. I do remember one of the first things when I did start my research, I'd stumbled across an article by, I think it was the founder of Bigger Pockets. And he was talking about buying mobile homes and mobile home parks and flipping those and getting started. And I'm like, wow, that could be done really cheap. Like I can do that. So, and then I started just getting deeper and deeper into the rabbit hole and learning more and more. So, but it seemed like fun for starters. It seemed like a huge need in our community. Good housing, whether it's a rental or, just a single family home for maybe a first time home buyer. Even then it just seemed like a need that we really needed met in our community. So that's kind of really what got me started on that.
That's awesome. I was kind of the same way. I originally got in to learn to flip homes. But I was like, well, if I'm going to flip homes, I should learn the real estate side, right?
Yeah.
And
Yep.
now I just tell people the real estate side, sales side stayed, and I dabble in the investing side. So you sit down with your broker and get things rolling. Do you dive right into real estate full time? Are you doing it part time? Kind of talk through the first couple years, successes, struggles. What was that like?
So getting started, I was more or less a part-time agent. I was still waitressing at the time. Again, bills to pay. It takes a while before we get our first sale going.
Yeah.
So I was lucky enough to where at my real estate job, I worked from like 5:45 in the morning until about 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So that left my evenings, afternoons, and open to be able to show houses, which is primarily when everybody else is free too. So I was very lucky being able to coordinate both of those schedules to make it work pretty well. So, so 2016, I finally took the leap in July of 2017. So about a year and a half after getting licensed to finally go full time. And go ahead.
I was gonna say, what was that first year and a half like? What did you just focus on your sphere of influence? Did you just take off, and run with real estate as far as like success goes, or was there some struggles there?
Honestly, I was very lucky. So I get licensed and I do my first post on Facebook. Hey, everybody, I'm now a licensed realtor. And I immediately had somebody that used to be a customer of mine at the retail job I had worked at reach out. She's like, I'm looking for my first house. Will you be my realtor? And I'm like, yes, I've got my first client. So I got really lucky. We were able to get her in contract pretty quickly. It was an FHA loan, so my whole process was learning how to do FHA right off the bat. And I'm trying to think, we got her closed, I think in April. So about 3 months in, I had my first closing. And then after that, I did pretty well. I want to say I had 10 transactions in my first year, which is great for a new agent. But yeah, I am terrible about cold leads. Door knocking, cold calls, buying leads. It makes my skin crawl.
It's not your personality.
I'm not. I am all about relationships and relationship building. So I focused on that. The people I knew from previous jobs, family, friends, acquaintances. And that is where 99% of my business has come from. And that's never changed.
No, I talk to agents about it all the time. Whether it's my team or just other people getting into the business, my passion is helping real estate agents find success.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
This business has been great to me. I've been blessed, with just my life because of real estate. And I talk to agents about their personality and just being true to who they are. And, like putting you behind a computer with a phone and calling leads every day would not work. Right. So, find the things that you enjoy doing. And then, how can we take that and put it into a real estate, type of setting?
Yes, exactly.
So the first year and a half, you're kind of going back and forth, doing the waitressing and real estate, really take that leap of faith in 2017. What did that look like, over the next 3, 4, 5 years moving up to current day? How's business been?
It's been great. So when I decided to go full time, I think I had $2,000 in the bank account. I did not have the 6 months of savings, nothing like that. I had a couple of deals in progress, but never to count your commission check until it's in your hands. But it was just, I'm a big person in believing in gut feelings, and my gut was telling me, now's the time, let's do this. It's sink or swim. You can always go back to waitressing if this doesn't work. So I did, I jumped in, and it's funny because the weekend that I think my last day at work was like on a Friday, and a group of girls that I had become really good friends with in my brokerage, we all had a weekend up in Put-in-Bay. And I actually ended up putting in my biggest deal at the time into contract that weekend while I'm up in Put-in-Bay, trying to write up the offer and everything. So we get that done, and that was like a great start. And from there, it grew. I was doing a lot of networking, a lot of classes, and again, just that relationship building, just trying to get to know more and more people. And so then fast forward to about 2018, I had been feeling very restless around here, and I'd always, ever since I was 12, I wanted to move out of Ohio. Got to get out of Ohio. And I have a tendency to be a very spontaneous person. I'm like, I get an idea in my head, I'm like, all right, let's make this happen. So May of 2018, I went with a friend for a weekend down to Clearwater, Florida, and just fell in love with the place. Fell in love with it. And I came back and I'm like, this is it. I'm moving to Florida. So I did. That was in May, and I moved down there by July 8th.
Wow.
It took a total of 6 weeks just to get everything packed up, done, ready to go. So I moved down there and got a job working it was a title company, but it's like one of those companies that, the big title agencies and the insurers send their orders to, and then we would send them out to abstractors in the state.
Yeah.
So I got a job there, and I started studying for my license. And there's some more details about that whole thing that I won't get into, but it didn't last. About 6 months, I decided to pack it up and come back home. Things had just not gone anything like what I had planned or thought they would. And I really didn't realize until I left how valuable my community was here. Here in Lancaster, again, it's a small town. I can pretty much walk into any grocery store, any restaurant. I'll run into somebody I know one way or the other. There, it was so odd knowing that it didn't matter where I went. Nobody knew who I was, and I didn't know anybody else. And that was a very strange feeling. So I really started to miss my friends, my community, my brokerage here, all my family's here.
Yeah.
So I moved back in the end of November of 2018, went back to waitressing again, because, again, I basically came back with no money. So I had to get everything started again. And luckily I only had to do that for about 6 months. All of my old clients came back. I had some investors that I had worked with that, came right back to me and everything. So it took about 6 months just to get a few more sales going. And then since then, my business has just completely taken off, because that has been my sole focus.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. Just building your business through your sphere of influence. What were some of the things that you were, focusing on? I know you mentioned networking, but was it just networking with just, random people that you kind of knew, connections, friends of friends, or was there any sort of strategic intentions with, for example, someone like yourself, right? If I'm talking to an agent and I know that they have that outgoing personality that would thrive into an area where they need to be face to face with people, it's like focus on events or things where people are attending it. Real estate's top of mind, right? Investor networking, small business networking, open houses, right? Buyer seller seminars, all of those things. Did you have a strategy behind it? Did you put your marketing to place? Or
no, there was no strategy whatsoever. Honestly, if there was an opportunity to go hang out with people, I took it. So some of that was more where real estate was top of mind. We've got a local investment group down here, Profit with Real Estate. I started, they got a monthly meetup. So I started going to that, getting to know a lot more of the investors that are local down here. Volunteer opportunities, community events. I try to get involved in those as much as possible. The local restaurants, I try to frequent those as much as possible, get to know the staff there, the owners, all of that, develop relationships with them. We have a local bar down here that's kind of that's my place.
Heck yeah.
So just go there to get to know, there's a great group of locals that hang out there. And so I've just gotten to know them and sit and have conversations, and real estate just eventually comes up when they're like, oh, what do you do? And so it kind of just naturally leads to that conversation.
You may have heard me say this before, but Ryan and I, my team leader and I, we joke all the time. It's like, as an agent, you could go to dinner or a bar every single day and get clients. There's no way you can't if you're, engaging and having the right conversations. And, I work with Seth Sias, and part of helping him get into the business and build it. He's like you. He thrives with face-to-face people, right? If there's people around, his energy levels up here, it's just where he wants to be. Same thing. Like, dude, go to your bar. You don't gotta get sloshed every single time, right? No, but go to the local bar that you want to establish your business in that town or whatever, and just start there.
Yeah.
And he does actually events there.
Yeah.
He does investor seminars.
Yep. I've started doing the same thing. Last year, so my brokerage, we actually have a nonprofit as well called The Key to Giving. So if an agent wants to start a passion project, it helps support them with that.
Oh, nice.
So it's really great. But actually, one of our brokers had liver cancer, and he needed a transplant and was getting very close to the point of surgery. So we ended up, myself and another agent here, Jen Goring, we teamed up and we did an event there at my local bar called Coyote Ugly. Okay, so think Coyote Ugly, but with men instead. But we had auction items. We had shot girls going around with shots. We did, we had the guys get up and dance on the bar because they have an old fire in the middle of the bar, and it was an absolute blast. We had a massive turnout, raised so much money. It was unbelievable. We could not believe the turnout we had and just the support of the community and everything. So, so they've allowed us to do that there. And then I actually just started a local realtor meetup group once a week to just come hang out, like a happy hour, just to get, because we don't really, up in Columbus, you guys have all of these networking events. We've got nothing down here. Like, especially since COVID hit, even, the board events, there's not very many of those very often. So I wanted to have a chance for us to get together, to collaborate, to build those relationships again, because I like to know who I'm working with on the other side of the deal. It makes it so much smoother.
100%, and I grew up in a small town, and sometimes it's small town mindset, right?
Yeah.
Scarcity, mindset versus abundance. And but you're right, there's enough business to go around, even down in Lancaster, for everyone. And one of the things I've learned over the last 4 or 5 years, really, because I used to be that way, like, I'm only focusing on John, I'm only focusing on our team, and that's what it is. And over the past 5 years or so, as I've gotten older and wiser, I say, knowing the agent on the other side, right? Whether you're representing a seller or you're representing a buyer, does have an impact on your offer status.
Absolutely.
Is this someone that I know that, we have a great relationship, that, I know when times get tough within a transaction, we're going to work it out and figure out the best way possible.
Exactly. Yeah. Are they going to be able to communicate in a timely manner? Are they going to be able to handle their clients to make sure? Yeah. It makes a big difference. It really does.
Yeah. No, I love that. Coyote. What was it?
Coyote Ugly.
Coyote Ugly. I like that. That's awesome.
Yeah. It was a lot of
fun. Now, next step for you, if you go to that bar, get bar glasses, if they allow you, with your logos and stuff on it.
You know what? That's brilliant. And I don't know why I've never thought of that.
So it's something that Seth is doing.
Yeah.
And I'm all for helping people, right? Like, if it works here, it works there. Yeah. But what he found out when he was talking to the bar owner about, hey, I want to do these investor events here, and I really want to use your location as kind of like that focal point to bring people in. He does them on a Tuesday, I think. So typically they're slower day.
Yeah.
But what we found is a lot of, the most expensive thing typically in the bar is the glassware. They drop it, break it, whatever. So I think he went to two different bars, one in Grove City, one in Circleville.
Mhm.
And I think he ended up buying like 20 or 30, 20-ounce glasses
Mhm.
with his logos on them. And now people tag him in, they take a photo of it and tag him like his friends, that see him there. So
I love that. That's brilliant. All
yeah.
right. Now, I'm there tomorrow for our meetup, so that'll definitely be a discussion I'll be having with the owners.
Yeah, just ask, hey, would you be open to this?
Yep.
So,
Yep.
and marketing, right? Free marketing
Yes,
for you.
exactly. Brand awareness, all of it.
Yeah. So Lydia, I want to kind of fast forward into the future now,
Yeah.
just to kind of see where you want your business to go and kind of what you're focusing on. What's something that you're looking to accomplish over the next 12 months?
So, well, things have changed so much over the past month or so. So I'm actually now, I call it an agent development coach, but actually kind of similar to what you're doing, but we're doing it for our brokerage now, myself and my business partner.
Awesome.
It kind of started because I was wanting to create my team. That seemed the next logical step. And we were discussing it and just looking at some different numbers and some different metrics. And he had actually been my mentor, for a couple years. And so I just paid him for that mentorship. And he's like, well, why don't you just do that instead of having a team under you that you're always responsible for? Create a mentorship program for them if they want to take advantage of that. So I'm like, that's a great idea. So we started building that and developing that together. And then, my broker found out about it and she's like, this is amazing. And so it's developed into, we're now offering this brokerage wide. So any new agent that comes on is going to be going through our mentorship and our training. And so that started kind of end of July, beginning of August.
Nice.
So we're like running 100 miles an hour, getting this whole thing created and everything that goes along with it. So that's pretty, along with my just regular production, that's my next 12 months. It's just us working on that, refining it, developing it to where it needs to be. So yeah, that's my next 12 months is focusing on others' success.
Now, how are you enjoying it so far?
I love it. I absolutely love it. I realized I really enjoy teaching people. I have a blast teaching. So I love to be able to take what I know and teach them. And our approach to training is a lot different than what most brokerages teach. We start out from that business perspective, being able to have a conversation, being able to build relationships, not just lead gen and, systems. Right. So that's kind of where we started building it up. So it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, I love it. I just found the passion over the last 11 years. It was, I like selling real estate. I love what real estate can do for buyers and sellers from the investment standpoint. Mm-hmm. But what I found is I love changing the lives of real estate agents when they get into this business and they leave, their job that, they're unhappy at, working 9 to 5, making, 50, 60 grand to, unleashing that potential of, hey, you can make 6 figures and you're not clocking in and clocking out, and you have more time at home with the family or whatever the case may be. So I'm right there with you.
What their goals are, and then helping create that roadmap to get them there.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Yeah. What's something you're looking to accomplish over the next 5 years?
That would be my investments side of it. Building my own investment portfolio for that passive income. I still want to retire early one way or the other. No matter how long I end up doing this, I want that ability to be able to do so. So that's really what my focus will be over the long term, is going to be building that.
What do you think that you need to change in order to help you focus on that?
That's a good question. I don't think so much it's changing anything. It's just really building up that extra income, with a lot of investments. It's a cash purchase. I know there's plenty of other options. I've looked at all the creative financing opportunities, but it's just really building up that cash to be able to start buying those properties and the down payments and the maintenance. And, I've really loved the idea of Airbnbs. The more I learn about those, somebody I know is very involved in the management of those. So I've been able to watch that whole process and the income producing ability that those have. But again, it's a lot more expensive to get those started because you have to furnish them, and they've got to be in great condition and all of that. So so it's just building up that to get to that point.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
What is a legacy goal for you? I was asked this question the other day, and it's been about a month, and it was the question that was posed to me was, what's your 100-year goal?
Yeah.
I like to change it and say, hey, what's that legacy goal?
Yeah. I like that. That's a great question.
You didn't have time to prepare for this one.
I did not. And I don't have kids. I don't have anything like that. So I guess, if I had a family, my goal would be, to build my own empire per se, with real estate, with the investments, all of that, to be able to pass down to my kids. So I may not have that, but I guess the people that are within my community, to be able to leave them something that just creates a better community. Since coming back from Florida, I realized how much I love this town. So the more of an impact I can have here on it and the people that live here, I guess would be my legacy goal. As a quick answer, without time to really ruminate on that.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. I appreciate you taking time today with us, and I want to be respectful of your time. I always end the podcast with this one question, and it's what do you think, if you could give the audience one piece of advice that either you wish you had in the beginning, or that you received, or that you wish people knew now, what would that be?
So I would say the biggest piece of advice, and I did get this at the beginning, and this has probably been life-changing for me, professionally and personally, and that is just show up. You don't have to be prepared. You don't have to be the smartest person in the room. You don't have to be the expert. Just show up. Get out of your comfort zone. Get in those situations that you may feel awkward and uncomfortable, but just do it. You don't know what kind of opportunity, friendships that'll be built, so on and so forth. So especially for new agents, I know it's so scary. Even the networking events where you're around all these agents that have been in the business for years and years, you're like, they're gonna eat me alive. No, they won't. Most of them are nice. Just show up, show up and meet those new clients. Show up for the opportunities that scare you.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it. Lydia, thank you so much for taking time, out of your day today to just share with us your journey and, how you got to get into real estate and your career so far. Those that are watching, if you're a real estate agent, if you connected with her story, please reach out to her. She's a wealth of information and knowledge. She wants to help you, and she wants to see you succeed. If you are a buyer seller down in Lancaster, do you outside of Lancaster? Do you come to Columbus or?
I do. But Lancaster is what I know the most. So, depends on the situation. I definitely go surrounding counties, but Lancaster, I know inside and out. So,
hey, if you're looking to sell or buy, reach out to her.
Absolutely.
She wants to help you sell your home. She wants to help you buy a home.
Mm-hmm.
But Lydia, for those that are listening in, what's the best way for someone to connect with you?
Feel free to call me or text me. My number is 740-205-7609. Or Facebook is primarily the biggest social media app that I think I utilize. So definitely connect with me on there. Add me as a friend. LIDYAMAURER. I'm the only person in this country with my first name spelled that way. So.
You know how many times, to get the graphic and stuff right, it was LYDI. Nope, that's not it. And I had to go back. I love it. Uniqueness is where it's at.
Yes,
I love it.
Absolutely.
But
thank you so much, John. It was an absolute honor, and I had a blast.
No, I had fun. And we'll connect again, in person, face to face.
Sounds
and
great.
Maybe I'll have to come down and check out the fireman pool in the bar. That sounds like a good time.
Absolutely. To let you dance on it if you'd like.
I don't know if you want to see that. People may leave. I don't know if you want to see that, but thank you so much. I really appreciate your time.
Absolutely. Thank you, John. Have a great day.
Thanks. You too.
Bye.